Hey y'all, welcome to Off the Beaten Path. My name is Cush.
My name is Breezy. On our podcast, we explore the great outdoors and the Second Amendment with a blend of culture,
comedy, and conversation. And oh yeah, I'm making beats. Yo, what's up, Lito?
I like that intro, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. RGG, our
What's
brother.
happening, fellas?
The man, the myth, the legend.
Working our magic to get someone big as you on this show.
Yeah,
right. You're busy.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm surprised I got a slot, you know.
Nah,
guys blowing up out here, man.
Yeah, come on, man. That's VIP.
VIP. Yeah, we had to fly all the way to Vegas to get you to get on the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, y'all paid the fee. I'm here now, man. What's good, though?
Nothing. Getting to it.
You tell us, man.
Yo, so our podcast is designed, like off the beaten path. Inner city dudes going to either the outdoors or the shooting space, and you're kind of a little bit in both. You a regular gun guy. That's your handle. That's who you are.
Facts.
I want to talk about how you got into just shooting guns. I know you're from Chicago. Shout out to Chi-Town, the Rack. I know there is a certain level, and probably the biggest level of survival out there, and there's been a few episodes we've already recorded where we've discussed how here in our city, you grow up learning to clutch on something because it's either life or death. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this again. Nobody on this podcast advocate for underage gun ownership or irresponsible gun ownership. I'm just saying that when I was coming up, we had to live by a certain style to make sure we can see this day, 40 years old now. So Lito, bro, for people who may not know you, and I know that ain't too many because you got a massive following. I think you're at like 50 million or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah, creeping up on.
Well, tell people how you got into do an intro of yourself and then jump right into how you got into the shooting space.
Yeah, I'm Lito, more known as a regular gun guy on YouTube, man. Getting into the shooting space versus guns. Like when I got on the YouTube, I probably owned, almost 30 guns at that time. So I've been around guns for a while. I wasn't a gun guy though. Like I wasn't one of those technical gun guys or nothing like that. I really came from, the neighborhood where we just owned guns. It was common for us to. You almost had to, man. It was one of those things, especially as I got in my late teens. So, that's kind of how I was introduced to it. I could probably go further back than that because my family originates from South Georgia, where, they did a lot of hunting and had rifles, or we had BB guns growing up and stuff like that. But I wasn't as much into it. Then when I got to the city, you get around a lot of different stuff as you grow up and you start seeing things. And, late 90s, where I grew up at, man, it started getting really bad, man. Murder rates started rising. You start seeing a lot going on in the streets, and you needed to be able to protect yourself by, one way or the other. And I don't advocate it at all, man.
Yeah.
I got 3 sons. I raised my sons. I took everything I had to get them out the hood, And when I raised them, and I wouldn't even allow them to play with guns. They couldn't even play with water guns or Nerf guns. They never had a gun as kids.
Yeah.
So,
that's dope. That's dope. Story. I respect that. No, I respect that. I respect that all the way because I have one son, but like when he was little, I wouldn't let him play with like water guns or Nerf guns. It wasn't until he became like a 13, 14-year-old that we were already going out shooting guns. Me and his uncle Breezy, like idiots. Remember Breeze during when we popped off with like
jumped off the like
$3,000-$4,000 in ARs and upgrades and but I respect that, bro. So
go ahead. I would say I'm curious because we've got to know you over the past couple of years. Cush a little longer. It was cool how y'all connected. Yeah. I'm curious, like when that light went off. When you saw a lane for yourself, like I could really be in this space and create something, like a community like you have now.
You know what, bro? That's a great question because I don't even think it really popped off that way, bro. Like I told you, I owned probably almost 30 guns. And one of my homies back at the crib, shout out my guy Clip, funny that's his name. But he was like, bro, you should jump into that YouTube shit, man. People are doing, they doing like collection videos. Like you be watching YouTube, and I used to watch, like I would watch Rambo, Black Rambo, and It's a Kid Out of Miami or Broward County, 223 Bucky. I used to watch them guys on YouTube because they would have guns that I had, that I had acquired, however I acquired them. So that's how I would try to learn about them. So then later on, my man was like, you should get on YouTube, bro. He's like, I'm starting my YouTube channel. And he was an instructor at the time. I didn't even have a concealed carry, bro. He's like, man, I can help you get your conceal. And then, I think you should start a channel.
How old were you when you figured out you need a concealed carry?
Don't do that to me, man.
No, for real.
Oh, it's okay. I see where he's going with this. This is a funny story we have.
How old were you, for real?
Yeah, I didn't get it. My actual concealed carry till I was probably mid-30s, bro.
Look at that.
That's crazy. Breezy was when we said this story on another episode, but when we opened up the studio, he was like, yo, you're gonna be packing a pistol, right? I was like, yeah, hell yeah. He goes, all right, he's like, you got your license? I was like, for what? He's like, to carry the pistol. I was like, nah, I'm just, tuck it, keep it with me. He was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna show you how to, and he sent me all the links and what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Like a few weeks later. But it's funny how in the community that we come from, it's like, nah, I'm gonna just buy a gun and hold it. Yeah. I didn't know about legal ownership. So it's cool I asked you that question because it's cool to see you say, yeah, I already had all these firearms, but I didn't know about the proper procedures on how to own them.
I did not, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
now I can teach people and show people, but I didn't know. And in Illinois, you have to have what they call a FOID card. So it's a firearm owner's identification card. You have to have that to even buy ammo. So, wow. It took me years to even, I got my FOID card when I was old enough. Then I let it expire because I had this thing where I didn't want to buy something that the people knew I had.
Yeah.
At that time, because I was still, doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. So even though I had got a FOID card, I never went to the store to buy guns. So I would always buy my stuff, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't, my card expired, and my card was expired for probably 10 years, bro.
Oh, wow.
Until so bad to my oldest son was like, yo, Dad, you get a FOID card, you can buy this stuff. Like he looking at what I got. He's like, you could literally go buy this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wait. I can get a chopper legally? Yeah. They got them at the stores. No, get out. This will be
jumped online real quick.
Yes, I'm like, let me do this. And it was only $11 to go get your FOID card and or whatever, man. So end of the day, it's a lot that we don't know. You grow up in an underserved neighborhood, and you'll be amazed at what people don't know, even in 2025.
Yeah. And I kind of want to touch on the neighborhood aspect because I think there's pockets of people in this space who think gun ownership only belongs to the hunters, the outdoorsmen, tactical trainer, and that ain't the case. Like in the city, it's different. In the city, we got to survive against the smartest and most aggressive animal, the human being. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, let's call a spade for spade. Me and Breezy intentionally don't want to talk politics on this podcast. Most blue cities are overrun with criminal activity, and I don't think that's a thing of like necessarily of politics. Or let me rephrase that. I don't know how much politics influences that because I'm not going to sit here in front and say I'm a politician. People in our space who know way more information about that. But what I will say is growing up in a community where it's like, it's man versus man, at the end of the day, it is proper what happened?
No, you went Matrix on us for a second. That Wi-Fi. We gotta get who on the horn and see what's up with that connection.
AT&T. No, it's Comcast. Comcast. But it was just a thing of like man versus man, and at the end of the day, it comes down to me versus you. That's what it comes down to. And so I say that because it's cool to see how the space is diversifying, and there's more minorities coming into the space, and not just minorities in the sense of like, racial minorities like Black, Latinos, Asians, and whatever. I mean like minorities in the sense of, yo, we are from the city. You know, when people think firearms, they think hunters, or like I said, law enforcement or veterans. And it's cool to see that you've built a community. Talk about your community, bro, because I can talk about it all day. I'm passionate about your community, what you've done. Hell, we've partnered up with you for some stuff. But I want you to talk about your community because, I mean, really, it's your baby.
Yeah, I mean, well, so coming into YouTube, like just getting into the space, man, of trying to be somebody that can be. I just wanted to be somebody that would be relatable. Like once I built up the courage to get in front of a camera and talk, it wasn't about. I'm not the most knowledgeable guy about all the technical ins and outs of firearms. Hey, there's a lot more me out there than there is people that are experts in the game type stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I wanted a lot of the content would go over my head because I didn't know a lot of the terminologies and stuff that people were saying. So I was like, man, we just need a everyday dude out here that can just talk online and relate to people, bro. Like that's it. And that's what made me, that was kind of my driving force to get on and say, hey man, look, I like this. This gun is cool, man. And you know, it run. I'm not having any problems with it. You know, instead of me saying the recoil ain't bad, I can explain it. I can be like, it don't kick back that much, y'all.
It don't kick back,
You know, we say recoil in the gun space, but they'll say this. So learning the terminology, sharing that with people that may not know it. So that was kind of the thing. That's how it started, even with my first couple videos, and they still up on my channel. Then I decided to do a live stream for the craziest reason. People would ask questions in the comments, but I couldn't always get to those comments in time.
Yeah.
But if I was live and somebody would ask questions or they said something to me, I can respond immediately.
Yeah.
So my very first YouTube live was by mistake. I hit the live button and didn't even realize I was live. Funniest story ever. And I had about 7-8 people in there. And I'm wondering how these people's comments was popping up as I was saying stuff. Like I really felt like an old, outdated dude.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, this is kind of cool because, you know, these people came in, they were talking to me. So then I started doing it on purpose. I had my first YouTube live stream. And it was like 7-8 guys in there. Honest to God, truth. 3-4 of those 7 or 8 are still with my channel to this day.
That's dope. How long ago was that?
2021.
Yeah, that's dope.
Wow.
They still be in my live stream to this day because what it was just me having conversations with people, right? And then I started it out with this thing where I would say, you know, I call them by their name. You know, I don't call them A. You rarely hear me refer to my supporters as subscribers. I don't use that word. I don't even like I get it.
Yeah.
They are subscribers to your channel, but I call people supporters, right? So I would always greet people when they come in. If they come in my live stream and they just ask a question, I'd be like, yo, man, you can't speak first. You don't come in nobody's house and don't speak. And it started a culture. It used to be 7 people, 10 people, 12 people, 15 people. It was all guys. And then one day a lady came in, and we had never had a lady in the chat. And I wouldn't go live every week like I do now. It would be every day, bro. I'd be going every day, every other day. So it would consistently build up. Like people would just start coming in more. Somebody would tell somebody. It just started happening. And we would have real conversations about stuff that was going on around the industry. A new gun pop up. Oh, they got a Ruger 5.7, man. You ever heard of that? I've never heard of 5.7 round. What do you know about it? Yeah. And before you knew it, more ladies start coming in, more guys start coming in. Then there's 25 people in there. Then it's 30 people, 50 people, so on and so forth until what we've built now. And in my first year, I decided, well, I didn't decide. Actually, a person that was one of the supporters, a brother from Tennessee, was like, hey, RGG, you should do something, man, where we can meet you in person. Let's go to the range. All right, let's do it. I'm like, well, let's not go to Illinois, though, because the gun law is crazy. I'm like, we got to go somewhere else. We end up in Houston, Texas, of all places. I had never been to Texas before. Yeah. I told everybody there was no flyers. There was no marketing. I just told people on the live stream, hey, we're going to go to Houston, Texas. Y'all want to pull up, pull up. This is the range. It's $20 to shoot all day. Let's go out there and have some fun. Almost probably 80, 90 people showed up to this thing.
The first event?
The first one from all over the country, though. Like, they was coming from all over. They driving 16, 17 hours. And this was all stemming just from the live stream conversations we would have.
Yeah.
And some of the names that were there would amaze you, right? Like, in the 2A space, names that you would be familiar with. You had Jay the Shooter there.
Yeah.
GHG Hustle was there. Real Rambo J was there. Locks and Load was there. Yoki Stirrup was there. This wasn't some paid event. This was just me saying, "Hey, yo, pull up."
Yeah.
And it happened, and then it's been going on ever since. So we do that event every year now. We turned it into a real thing.
Yep.
Channels, the channel's grown organically, man. I mean, they consider it a small channel in the industry, but it's 50,000 organic, man, and ain't none of that whipped cream put on top. We ain't buying nothing. We ain't boosting nothing. It's all 100% organic and very highly engaged. So that's it, bro. It was never intentional. I guess I said all that to say that. It was never intentional. It just kind of happened,
from the ground up.
Because we have this conversation a lot. Like, we say this in person because we see you at events everywhere. Like, we speak about you specifically, your community, what you built, basically a lot of the things you described. Because I think the word influencer gets thrown around these days. He's an influencer. How many followers? Like you said, sometimes those can be vanity metrics. I learned that from my boy Cush. You have a genuine community. Like, just speaking for me, I obviously heard about you. Cush told me how y'all met, and we were at ARM this year. For y'all don't know, it was a regular meetup, which that first event turned into, right, and grew.
Absolutely.
And it felt, from my first time being there, it still has that feeling to it. Like, yo, this is the cookout. We all coming to meet up. Family reunion style. I heard that vibe a lot, and it was beautiful to see it firsthand. The women's conference, the guys, everyone coexisting in the space that you created. And we left there with the sense of, man, this is, I think you even mentioned it and when you were speaking at one time, that this is bigger than me.
Yeah. It is at this point.
And that's a beautiful thing. And especially when you see it firsthand. So I want to give you your flowers on that to see it, document it, and see everyone in that space. It's a beautiful thing.
I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate Cush. We met on some business stuff, but quickly, probably 10 minutes into our first conversation, it's a good guy right here, man. I think we just kind of had a mutual vibe, and we chopped it up, and we've been rocking ever since. So it's like, and I told him when he left the last company he was with, I'm like, bro, I rock with you, man. You're a good guy. You looked out for me when you didn't have to. Hey, I'm always appreciative, so I always show love to people that show love to me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we did, as we do this meetup, bro, we've added stuff to it. I did it my second year. We did an awards ceremony. We called the RGAs, Regular Gun Tube Awards. And it was kind of in response to the Gundies, which is a pretty dope industry event that they do where they give out awards to influencers in the gun space. And people, sometimes, man, when you step up and speak up about stuff, you could become controversial, right? Like, people will kind of look at you like, oh, he's trying to do something and compete with the Gundies. No, what I was trying to do was bring eyes to minority creators, Black creators, to be more specific, Black and brown creators, should I say. So, because I watched the Gundies and I would watch the pattern. And shout out to my girl Tactical Tangerine for bringing it to my attention initially.
Tangy, shout out to Tangy.
And they would never had Black, nobody Black ever won this thing, or they were rarely ever nominated. And I'm like, I think it's just a cultural disconnect. I don't think they know that we exist over here. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think they're being racist. They just don't know. Like, we need to have something where we can honor, man. You know how many creators that we have are just amazing, that never get that attention. When they were doing up and coming creators, how does GHG Hustle not be noticed? When he's rising and got millions and people really rock with this kid, right? Like, how do they not see that? You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do something that we could open up to be able to give our people some light, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to dig too deep into it. We've done it for a few years. We'll continue to do our awards dinner. It'll no longer be, I'm giving y'all an exclusive. It'll no longer be the RGAs because I feel like, and this is just me being brutally honest, I feel like oftentimes our community feels like maybe the ice is cold on the other side, as my homie would say.
Yeah.
Right? Like if we trying to honor you and show you the love that you deserve, you don't think it's big enough.
It's the BET Awards versus MTV.
Yeah. So, but when those guys nominate you, and it's a good group of guys, Forge Relations, the company, the people that run the Gundies and all that, they actually marketing people they don't. But you never even make the top 5. You get nominated, you promote it on your Instagram, you promote it on your YouTube, you promote it all over the place. And then when the show happens, your name never called.
Yeah.
It did you no good. We nominate you, you don't even post it. So it's sort of like, some people did. I can't knock everybody, right?
Yeah.
Some people did. And I know some people are gonna be mad at me when I say this stuff, but I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. They'll forgive themselves for being mad at me because they'll realize that what I'm saying is real.
Yeah.
When Honest Outlaw, shout out to Honest Outlaw, when he won our award, he instantly reached out to me, came on my live stream, showed love, reposted it on Instagram, was very appreciative of it. Honest Outlaw is not in a minority, right? He won Gundy as well. He's one of the biggest influences in this game.
Yeah.
Why don't our people do the same thing, right? So I challenge a lot of the influencers in the space that look like me to understand what it is. We are truly a minority here. And I tell people all the time, you don't have to be anti-white to be pro-black. Like that's just you can love yourself, love your people, and love everybody else. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? People meet me, bro, and it's always love, man. That's why I have so many relationships, with everybody from all walks of life. Some of the biggest names in the game have just held me down, took me under their wing, and gave me advice, and you know what I'm saying? And I'm forever grateful for that on both sides,
Yeah, that's dope. And it's dope to see how you're coming. Yeah, go ahead, Breeze. Go ahead.
No, I'll say it just real quick. I love this space for that. And I know there can be different faction in politics with anything, but I've noticed for the time we've really been in the space that it's dope like that. Like
it is.
The juice. They'll give you this. They'll pull you under the wing and show you.
Hold on. This is called Off the Beaten Path. What beat are you chopping?
I'm not, man. I'm locked in with Lito today, but this is where I'm going with it. So I might check. You see the breezy hands.
I'm a music guy. Let me see what you got.
Ready?
I can't explain the way I feel about you.
Come on,
I guess it must be.
Wait, is that it?
Come on now. What?
You already chopped that? That's just a sample.
I
might just pull I gotta chop it up now. Let's see what we come up with.
I'm waiting on the 808s and the snares to pop in there.
Okay, all right. I'll get some 808s going for you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, so get the chop.
I don't know where you're going with this, but I know for me, I'd like to know, and I'm sure y'all might speak on this. I'm gonna be over here in the MPC, but I'd love to hear where we're going now. What arms looking like and RGG, like what that vision looks like for the future.
So we'll keep doing the event the same way we do it. I mean, thank God, it sells out every year, man. People look forward to it. They plan this like a vacation. I love it. The only thing that'll change going forward is instead of our awards dinner being strictly influencer awards, because it's hard to get influencers, all of them to show up. And I mean, I get it, man. You can't travel to everything. So, and I can't afford to pay for your travel to be at my event every year. So what we're doing now is we're going to focus it more on like what I like to call community driven things. Like we'll have stuff like firearm of the year. We'll have things like what was the the best red dot of the year. We'll do instructor of the year. We'll do things like boots on the ground, which is one of my favorite awards. We've been doing that for a while. So boots on the ground are people that's giving back to the community or doing great things, you know, in and outside of the gun space. So it'll be more focused like that as opposed to straight influencer awards. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. That's the only thing that'll change, man. Otherwise, we still do our women's conference, which is a highlight. You know, we do our exhibitor showcase, which allows companies to come out and show products, show it to the people as a part of our meet and greet. We still do our range day, which is crazy. And then we do the sneaker ball.
You know what I love
sneaker ball. Let's go.
Yeah, sneaker ball's fire. Sneaker ball.
And wait, let them know real quick, Lito, where we at with it this year? Where's it going down?
2025 is in Atlanta, man. June 6th and 7th.
Let's go. Let's go.
You know what I love about the ARM event in its entirety is that it is culture. And like you said, and I stand on your words too, is I don't believe that it's racially motivated. I sincerely believe there is just a cultural disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't. One of the series, I haven't heard you do it in a while. In all fairness, I ain't been on your channel but a few times these last several months. I remember one of the first things I heard you say, and I was like, oh yeah, he's standing true to the culture, is sugar and grits. And I remember you had me up on your live one time, and it was like all hinging on my response. And I know over here we don't put no sugar on the grits. So
over here either, bro.
But I love that it's you've essentially become the door to the culture. Because here's the thing, and I saw this in the music industry. Rappers like to give rappers their CDs. Rappers like to give other rappers their music. Yo, let's feature, let's work. The reason why I'm so passionate about what you and your movement do is because you kind of did the same approach me and my brother did. Me and my brother used to rap, obviously. When we started making music, we didn't turn to no other rappers. We turned to the regular folks and started hustling on them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And once we started making money off of it, people were like, damn, what are they doing? We're like, we're putting it in regular people's hands. Like, I don't care about y'all other rappers. Y'all can make dope music. Y'all want to work, we'll work. But really, these CDs move with the people. So when I saw you, and I remember when our first conversation, when we first spoke, I was like, bro, you ain't even got to sell me on it. Just send me your channel. And I looked and I was like, oh yeah, this makes the most sense out of everything that had hit my desk up to that point. I was like, this makes the most sense. Yeah. And if for nothing else, it's because you're community focused. You know what I'm saying? And I think so many of us are caught up in influencer. There's a term that I both love and hate that I learned when I was a teenager is a Bojangles. I ain't gonna be no Bojangles for nobody. Ain't nobody gonna make me dance. Ain't nobody gonna make me do, ain't no puppet master around here. And so, and to me, some of what influencer work requires for you to be oh, hey, we got the newest gun, or hey, and I just don't like that. And I've always loved that no matter what, you stay true to what you believe, the products that you stand up. If it's paid or not, you still gonna give it its due process. Oh, well, I like it because of this. I don't like it because of this. I remember when man, I don't remember what company it was, but when you started dropping the hand meat series, I was like, oh, bro, that's good because there's guys out there like us that got a lot of hand meat.
Hand meat, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so I when I listened to you, not only to learn and grow with you, but just in admiration because you ain't out here being no Bojangles. You ain't out here like, oh, they sent me a gun, so I got to give it a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is that's good business. That's you're not trying to send your community one way just because you're the door of the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always fear, man, or I used to fear that people will be too quick to judge a book by its cover when you're trying to do business.
Yeah.
Especially in this space, right? Yep. So if I walk up and I got on, I always wear baseball caps. Like that's one of the things I'm known for, right? I love my hats. Man. It's something, I got more hats than I got guns. That's my thing. I'll wear jewelry sometimes, you know, if I go to events or whatever. This is me. This is where I'm from. This is my culture. I say the N-word. I do. If it's a part of culture, it's how I grew up. I don't judge me for who I am. Judge me for how I treat you and what our relationship is, right?
Yeah.
And I'm usually one of them people that try to build with everybody that I meet. So I try to have individual relationships with each person. And that's a lot, but you leave a lasting impression on people that way. And then they understand that, he just is who he is, right?
Yeah.
I want you come to my live stream or you come to my event and I see you and I'll be like, man, boy, your head big in person, you know.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get offended by that. You know, we cool, like we can relate in that way.
Yeah.
I don't have to be professional all the time walking up to you.
Yeah.
I learned that in the industry. You'll meet people in the professional realm, and then you see them at the party,
and it's completely different.
Like, damn, she different. Like that's not who I was just talking. So people turn it off and on, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I try to keep it
steady.
It's steady.
You know what's funny? When I normally don't tell people I'm an identical twin brother. I've been in corporate America. Well, me and Breezy been on the entrepreneur trip for the last 8-9 years. But I got an amazing marketing resume. Ain't nothing to hide. I just never tell people, hey, I'm an identical twin. So when we decided to start Apex Mountain, and my brother's always been a dope videographer. You know, we do all that stuff just from our background in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
I remember our first SHOT Show as a team. I think it was last year. Yeah, last year. SHOT Show as a team. People were like, yo, you got a twin? And I was like, yeah, I got a twin. And they can see, like, you see it. You see it. He's still very much like, I'm from that. I am that. You know what I'm saying? And
man, that's my homie right there.
Yeah, and I don't have that. You know, it's been 20 years for me working in the corporate space. Not saying that I have changed. But
of course you have, man.
But don't get it twisted. Like, you know, don't look down on bro because he might not be a tactical dude. Like I remember last year, and Breezy, I don't know if he can hear us, but last year you could see it. We stuck out like sore thumbs, bro. We're one of the few marketing agencies that dresses how we look and how we talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can put up the button up. I can do all that. And I was actually telling Breezy that this year, I said maybe next year I'll dress a little more in the marketing capacity. But I like seeing my brother bop through Vegas the way how we grew up dressed. You know, that's how we dress. That's how we are. And like you said, you wear sweatsuits and your ball cap, a big ball cap, because that's a big old head you got over there. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like we got we're the
THC Club.
THC. That's us, the Tank Head Club. But you're the president for sure, because I don't know anybody else.
I appreciate it.
You said what? You are a size 9?
No, 8, bro. Nobody wear no 9, man.
No, yours looks like a 9, bro. I don't think you can see it.
That's an 8.5.
Yeah, 8 3/4. No, but I think that is to see our communities start moving into these spaces, and we dress out. I love my brother Mark Chopper, bro. Mark Bobson, he looks like a DC cat. He looks like you took him right out of DC and dropped him right into the industry. You look like someone took you right out of Chicago and dropped you. Ain't no tactical vest. Because realistically, and I had this conversation before, and I got homies who come from the tactical space. I got homies who are trainers and instructors. You're not gonna be wearing a vest. You're not gonna have eyes and ears. You're not gonna. It's not gonna be the most ideal conditions if and when things go down. You know what I'm saying? You might be wearing shirt, shoes, some slides. Someone tries to run up in your house. What are you wearing? Are you fully tacked out in your crib? Yeah, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if so, what's the closest thing you got to you? You know what I'm saying? So it's always, I think like that, like, it's important to be who you are, how you are 100% of the time, because man, we could easily throw up the tactical look and say, oh yeah, we're but then I'll be faking because I don't live a tactical lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I know there's tactical people in your space too, bro, like in your community.
Oh, 100%, bro. Listen, you know, one of the things about me, bro, like sometimes you'll see people. You ever see somebody that'll be in a movie, or you heard a story about an actor that was in a movie and he got so caught up in his role that he thought he was really that person?
Yeah.
Right? They get to wilding out. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Omar Epps was in too deep.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, I'm caught up in this. Well, I see a lot of that on YouTube, right? Like you get so caught up in who you are behind the camera, right? Because you got to put on this whole thing for the camera.
Yep.
And then when the camera goes off and people see you, you still want to be that
thing,
person that you are behind the camera.
Yep.
And that only applies to people who not being themselves, right? So like if you're not being yourself, it's hard. See, the easiest thing in the world for me to do is be myself and allow people to either accept it or not. Like those are your options. You can accept it or you don't have to. You don't have to judge me though. See, I don't like people that look down on other people. I refuse to do that. I don't judge people. If I bought a gun and you bought a lesser expensive gun, I don't judge you for that, right? Like
exactly.
It is. I come from a neighborhood where high points mattered.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing.
I'm not promoting high point. I'm not promoting violence, any of that. I'm just telling you that I've seen it. So there's people that's not in our world, and I think that's another disconnect, right? The gun space and the real world.
Yeah.
It's two different places, man. People that are in the gun space, a lot of us are collectors, enthusiasts, trainers, instructors, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then you got the regular guy who owns a gun, right? But he's not into none of the stuff that we into. Yeah. He doesn't know the difference between Sealy, Hollow Sun, O-Sight, or whatever, right? He don't know. And it's okay, but he can shoot, right? You hear the story about, you know, you might have an uncle in your family. Man, my uncle shoot a revolver at 100 yards consistently. He good. Yeah. But he don't go out and train or none of that. He just been shooting for years.
That's it.
Right? He may not have. When he shoot a semi-auto, he may not have what they call the proper grip.
Yeah.
You know, his grip look a little weird.
Yeah.
He hit everything he's shooting at. Yeah. I'm not here to judge people, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that I think is universal is safety.
Yeah. 100%. Hey, Breeze, drop one of those DJ horns, bro. The only thing that's universal is safety.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
What are we looking for?
The DJ horn. Man.
Hold on. I was all in there.
He's the board director. Oh, man. There it is. The only thing that's universal is safety. I agree 100%.
You dropping that in the that should be a little flare. There we go.
No, right here. There
it is. There it is.
But yeah, man. But I truly believe that, bro. And sometimes, you know, I'll get knocked for that from time to time because that's my approach, right? Like even as an instructor. So I instruct different. I've seen people be, some people shouldn't be instructors. They're not doing this. I don't have to be a grand national competition shooter or champion competition shooter to be an instructor, right? You don't have to be. All I need to do, I need to understand safety, proper techniques, and how to help people learn their way around a firearm and be safe. So even when I instruct people, my instruction is different. I'm teaching people how to avoid the situation as much as possible before you have to engage in the situation.
Yeah.
But then know how to properly engage if you need to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But my goal, stay out the way. Like don't.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
You know.
Well, you know, that's dope that you touched on that. We had Byron, the instructor, on here, and people I guess don't realize he's a high level instructor. And one of the questions we asked him is like, what are some common misconceptions? He goes, you know, I walk into these traditional gun ranges and instructors aren't expected to look like me. And then when I tell them I'm here to train, to give a law enforcement officer his updated whatever course, they're like, oh, you know, so he's not just now, but he's been caught steam for how his training is. But it's just dope to hear, man. Like, breaking barriers.
Let me ask you a question. My bad to cut you off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Shout out to Byron, the instructor. Cool guy.
Okay.
What's a low level instructor?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I would think, for me, if I put my professional marketing hat on, I would say high level is anything that requires like way more tactical training, like veterans or where like the average dude, and this is gonna sound amateur because it's not how I shoot anymore. But when I first got firearm, I was always taught just point and shoot in the direction you want to go. But there's a difference between precision and accuracy. You know what I'm saying? And it took me a while to learn that. So when I say like low level versus high level, a high level, I guess in our space, high level training is someone who trains 5 to 6 times a week. Maybe if they're an instructor, maybe they teach other people who work with a firearm or in the capacity of owning a firearm regularly. As
I just asked you a confusing ass question, didn't I, bro?
No. I'm breaking it down in my head, because I would say I'm a low level trainee. I don't go to the range.
See, I don't the way I am about it is because I see instructors like a guys that label themselves as instructors or trainers, right? And every industry has this thing of you'll get a lot of guys with egos that think they're better than everybody else. If that guy, he's an instructor. See, I don't get caught up in that stuff, right? Like I let them, I hear it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't get into that back and forth stuff. But again, if you could effectively instruct or train individuals to be safe, effectively use their firearms, understand their guns, and get them to another level from where they started, I think you're doing okay, right? Some people can take instruction to the next level. They're that serious about it, right? They dug into it where they're going to bring you out and try to teach you every aspect of it. But I be telling people all the time that in the real world, there's way more stuff that can happen than we can prepare for.
Or that we can practice, or that we can
that you can train for, right? Like it doesn't mean don't train. We should all get out, and I think everybody should have some level of training to make sure that you have an above average understanding of a firearm if you own one.
How many times a month would you say?
Now that I mean, it's hard to put,
maybe once a week.
But I would just say you should train enough, get to the range, shoot and manipulate your firearm enough, even if it's dry firing at home.
Yeah.
To just know that you're comfortable with it in case you ever had to use it. So that's the thing, man. But and I used to be kind of rebellious when I first came into the YouTube space.
Yeah.
Because y'all excuse me for sounding so stuffy. I was under the weather from SHOT Show, but I used to be rebellious because I would be like, man, a lot of these dudes talking all this instruction and training, they ain't never been in a real world situation. They ain't never had to shoot at nobody. They ain't never been shot at. They ain't never been shot. They ain't never been there. And I'm not condoning that either, but I've been in real world situations. I say it on the podcast. I tell you that. So it's like, it's different, man. It's different. So, even guys that's been to war, that's different. I've never been to like military war. I've never been to military.
Yeah.
I know that's got to be different. That's got to be some type of mindset that's like, we can never understand it. They can tell us all day. Same thing coming from
the streets.
In the city, coming from the streets.
Yeah.
I can tell you about it all day. You
won't get it.
Been involved, you don't understand it.
We're a different type of soldier.
What to expect to come that might happen where I come from.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't,
I mean, and bro, that's why, in the South, I don't know about you city slickers, but in the South, who was up in rank for us? Soldier Slim. You had to have that soldier life mentality, and that's who we came up under. Like listening to No Limit and listening to the music. Like these are guys from our areas who live like we live, and just ruthless. You gotta be. Here's the thing: you can train all day. The one thing I remember, I'm reminded of is the school shooting that happened in Texas a few years back. You can have all the training in the world, but if you ain't got the heart for it, you just ain't got the heart for it.
1000%, bro.
They didn't run into the school. It took a dad who was getting his hair cut to run and to storm into the school.
Yeah.
Foolishly, maybe, but in the real world, that's when you get tested. You either got it or you don't. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, bro. Let me tell you something. People have knocked me for saying stuff like this. Bro, you can learn more about situational awareness from a kid from the inner cities of Baltimore than you kid from the average instructor. Like it's a fact. So, but people, they'll knock you for saying that, but it's like it's real, right?
Yeah.
Like if
100%.
I go to my neighborhood in Chicago and you go on the blocks, man, they spidey senses way different from my spidey senses.
Oh yeah.
Because there's too much that can come their way or too much that comes their way on a daily basis. So you can learn a lot about situational awareness, how to watch cars. If that car come through the neighborhood and they
how
got
many times it came around,
what we doing?
Yeah.
How we prepare? Should we be standing behind this tree? We need to be taking cover. They know all this stuff. They just don't say it in tactical terms. I'm just telling you how it happens in the real world where people really have to survive, right? I can sit here and tell Lonnie all day. Lonnie, keep your head on a swivel.
Yep.
Lonnie, look around before you get out your car.
Yep.
Lonnie, don't get out of your garage without checking the area first. But Lonnie's so used to living in the suburbs and so used to things being so peaceful that Lonnie will always put his guard down at some point.
Man, that's so great you say that because Breezy and I, a lot of people know we drive a lot of the places. We fly. I mean, I would say it's about maybe 60-40. Like maybe we fly 40% of the time, but the other 60 we drive. But bro, I always keep the pistol easily, except him too. We have a magnet right up under our steering wheel column. And anytime someone approaches the vehicle, my hand instantly goes to the strap. And and I know for some people they think, oh, you might be overreacting. No. Overreacting would be if I drove down on somebody. I just don't know what this person's coming up to my car for. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you said something at the beginning of the podcast. You don't work your butt off to make sure that you don't raise your boys with firearms and things like that, and move them up out of the hood. I made sure I moved my family out of the hood too. I told my son when we owned the studio, I think we were like 5-6 years in. It was in the hot section. And I said, yo, son, you realize there's a kid right now your age, right here somewhere, not even a mile away from us. He's sharper than you are. He's faster than you are. Might even be a little more slyer. And he's like, why do you say that? And I'm like, because it's true. I said, the way I grew up, you're always like this. You're always thinking about who's scheming on you. You got to trust your gut. Because, when people do a lot of this and their actions don't match, you got to learn how to discern between the two. And I said, and in the streets, a lot of the stuff that happens in the streets is deception. If you think about most people who do the crimes, it's usually somebody they know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a kid right now, your age, and I told him something similar to this just a couple months ago. He's 18 now. I told him this when he was like 12. There's a kid right now somewhere that's got more heart than you. That I said it's always okay to walk away. I'd rather you come home alive a coward than die a man standing up and you for what? You know what I'm saying? Like
home safe, right?
Yeah, that's it, bro. That's it. Yo, Breeze, I see you bopping over there. What you got?
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna hit any disclaimers, but I was all usually I say what's up and dive into the beat.
Yeah.
We'll see what we got here. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I get the Lito Cush nod of approval here. Let's see.
Oh man, let's go.
I guess it must be what you see. I guess it must be.
There you go.
I guess it must be. I guess it must be.
Yeah.
I guess it must be.
I love that.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
All right.
Oh, there goes the
Boy, I'm glad you didn't come with no garbage because I would have let you know, bro.
Yeah. Oh, bro.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear those. I don't know if you can hear the 808s hitting in there. So
I hear it though. I hear it. And you picked the perfect snare too.
Yeah.
I love it. In the hat, in the hat's
Come on,
popping.
bro.
I
You're
like it.
speaking
I
my
like
love language now.
it.
That's
Yeah, I like it.
I'm all about drums in your face. I don't. I
Yeah.
never really like the soft.
I even like the breakdown he did.
Yeah.
Wow, that was
Appreciate
hard.
it. I appreciate that, fellas. Thank you.
I like it, man. I like it. I like it. I like it.
All right. Oh,
Oh
whoa.
man.
Oh man.
Oh man. Oh man.
There we
Might be
go.
over for that beat.
Yo, bro. So okay, you kind of told us how you started the community, how you fostered the community, the future of the community. What do you want to see more of in the space, whether it's from your community or from manufacturers and marketing company? What do you want to? What does RGG, not Lito, what does RGG want to see in the space as far as like I don't know, let's say the next year or two, next 2 years?
If I could say one thing, I would say that I would love to see more companies understanding the micro influencer, or more companies having appreciation for the smaller influencers, whether they're no matter what side of the demographic they come from. Because what happens is traditionally in marketing, you'll see they're always taught to go for the biggest.
Yep.
Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. This team has the most subscribers. These guys got the most numbers and all the other cool stuff. But you'd be amazed at what you can get from micro influencers.
Yeah.
With high engagement, right? Like their people going to be more dialed into what it is that they're talking about. So if it is your product, they know that these guys are a lot more genuine about it.
Yeah.
Not to knock the bigger guys, but the bigger guys got a lot more on their plate.
Yeah.
Than the smaller guys.
I
love to see companies, and God knows, man, I've been blessed. You guys know this for sure. And I don't take it for granted. I work with a ton of companies and they've all embraced me. Ones that you wouldn't even believe would be working with a channel as small as mine, based on the way the industry works. But I'd love to see those opportunities afforded to some other smaller
creators
as well.
Well, I want to piggyback off of that because as a marketing person, I have a lot of conversations and they're like, "Oh, can you get this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a phone call." And I'm like, "But what is your goal? What are you looking to accomplish?" Because and this is no shot at the big channels because I love and support everybody equally.
Yeah.
I look at it with my marketing eyes. If you want somebody who has 500,000 and up, think of it as a billboard on the side of the street. How many times do you drive by that billboard? How many times do you see that billboard for like an In-N-Out or a McDonald's or a Burger King? But it ain't until you put side of the street and now your belly's hungry and you see that Burger King, McDonald's, and In-N-Out on that corner. Those establishments, those are the micro influencers. The macro influencers, the bigger ones, are the billboards. They're gonna let you know, hey, we're influencers. We can put get eyes on your product, and no trust with their community to say,
yeah. It's always on the punchline.
Yeah, right.
Man,
right.
They always get you on the punchline, man.
They don't want us to be great.
They don't want us to be great, man.
I'm gonna have to put in a work order
for too, bro. You was preaching too
for Comcast.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And we just coming off of shot and all the meetings we had. I had that conversation many a times, and you actually came up a few times, Lito, which was like I said, we keep you in the conversation because I think you're a great I don't know if ambassador, blueprint, what you built.
Yeah.
Or what that looks like.
Yeah.
Like if you're speaking about something, it's something that you really are bad. You're not just pushing something to push it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But I think people that do support me, that's a little bit closer to the platform, they've gotten to know me. Like I'm always striving to be of the people, like never above them. Like I don't want to. It's so difficult for me to ever look down. I don't like when people look down on me, so I never look down at anyone. And the funny part is, you have a community of people, bro, and a lot of these people are living better lives than us. Better lives than most YouTubers, right? And lives that we would only dream to live of. Man, I've met doctors in our community, bro. lawyers in my community, not my community, the community, all walks of life, bro. Everybody from Amazon drivers to executives, business owners, you name it, bro. It's like it's all across the board. It represents the world we live in. You see what I'm saying? But we all come together because we have this thing in common, right? We all love the Second Amendment. We love firearms. So now we can learn from each other. So it's not them. It's not a me thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a us. I can ask questions. I'll go on a live stream, bro, and I'm asking legitimate questions for myself. So something I didn't know, I can ask that question, and there's going to be somebody there knowledgeable enough to know. And they're going to give me the answer. Now everybody else will have that answer to a question that I was wondering.
Well, that's cool because we've said this multiple times, bro. One of the things we love about this space specifically, you ain't got to pump fake. All you got to do is say, yo, I don't know. And so many people want to give you information. It's up to you to figure out, what's right versus what's wrong or what's applicable versus what's not. But it's dope to be able to say, dog, I don't know.
I promise, bro. That's one of my. Let me tell you something. I want anybody that watches this podcast, if you'd like to go back and verify this. When I first started my YouTube channel, probably within my first 15, 20 videos, one of my favorite phrases to say was, I don't know. Yeah. So it helped the engagement of my channel. It helped me to build a channel up because when I didn't know something, people that were watching the video that did know would answer in the comments. What is that? Engagement. Yeah. So if I could say, if anybody knows the answer to this, because I'm not quite sure, bro, it would be a piece on the gun that I didn't know, right? I didn't know if it was called a slide release or the slide stop, at the time. So I would say those things and they would say, hey, buddy, we refer to that as a slide stop or whatever. People would come in, oh, you said clip, man, you might want to say magazine. That type of thing. But I would always get these comments and it wasn't people knocking me. Right? Because I was wise enough to say, I don't know.
Yeah,
right?
Let me know. Yeah.
I took the Eminem and 8 Mile approach where, I'm going to diss me before you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's us. It's not me, right? And think about how many content creators channels you'll go to. And it's a me game. Yeah. Look at what I got. Look at this. Yeah. This is the new one that I got. Look at what I got. Yeah. Look at the color of this one. Look what I did to this one. Look what I'm on for this, right?
Yeah.
Versus when you go to the channels that say, hey guys, check out this. This just came along. You guys might like this, Tell me what you think about this. What is your thoughts on this, right? What could they have done differently? Or, that's more relatable than the that type of thing. So, and I think more channels are not the me's, but you see a lot of those.
Yeah, and bro, there's so much truth in what you're speaking because even on the 2AR channel, Breeze to tell you, bro, we only have like 2 or 3 long form videos, but it's mainly shorts where we're showing off dope firearms, but it's all from a place of a question like, hey, have y'all ever seen this? I don't know, Cerakote. Have y'all ever seen something like this? Hey, what's this called? I ain't never seen a gun like this. And people comment, oh, that's a competitive. I saw it was a firearm where it looks like the grip wraps around your hand. I was like, what the hell is that? So we made it into a short and everybody was coming, oh, yo, that's a competition like for Olympic shooting. And we learned real early on quick. If you pose it as a question, you'll get the engagement, but at the same time, you learn. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro. Man,
you just gave people a lot of free game right there, bro.
Yeah, I mean, bro, I ain't no gatekeeper.
75% of my YouTube captions are questions.
Questions, yeah, yep.
So, like you ask the question and then in hopes that people will, respond to that. So yeah, that's dope. That was dope advice right there, man. So, again, bro, the space is dope. Yep. I love it. It's nothing like doing something that you have fun doing, right?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
At the end of the day, you want it to be a business. I didn't want it to be a business when I started, but when you realize that this could be a business, why would you leave that on the table, right?
Yeah.
So then you start thinking, how many people come on YouTube genuinely, or any platform, Instagram or whatever, Genuinely, they picked up a gun. They picked up a new Glock.
Yeah.
And they just want to show it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they talking about it. But the companies feed off of the promotion. They got free promo from you.
Yeah.
And they're not wrong for it. Shit, you gave it to me. I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I had a guy tell me, and I won't even play the, don't name games, because he said this. This is the guy from Zastava, right?
Yeah.
Ranko. He's the guy. He runs Zastava, and you can post this. He told me one day, I was talking to him. He was talking about like doing some work or whatever, right? And he said, "Why would I want to pay an influencer to go do a video on my gun when there's 1,000 YouTube videos already out there on my gun?" I was like, he started scrolling through the videos, and guess who had a video up there on his gun? Me.
Wow.
I was one of the videos that he was scrolling through.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't have relationships with any of these people. So what do I need to pay you for when they're doing it for free anyway, right? They already doing it.
Yeah.
I think creators need to start thinking about that, right?
Yeah.
But you caught up in a catch-22.
Yeah.
Content creators need content. They need things to do content on.
Yeah. And
companies need promo and influencers to do the content for them. So it's a real thin line in between there, right?
Yeah.
Like
game.
Sometimes you're gonna have to do it, and then there's other times I say don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Because once you give it to them,
that's it.
You can't double back and say pay me now.
Yeah.
You already did it. You did it for free.
Yeah. And maybe that's the stepping stone to creating a relationship as well.
Sometimes it is, bro. I've developed quite a few relationships like that because they understood that I really like the product.
Yeah.
If I really like something, bro, I don't care. I bought it, I paid for it, full price, did a video on it from the heart. They didn't send me nothing. I just liked it and I wanted to tell people about it. But I've established relationships with companies by doing just that.
Yeah.
So it can work both ways,
Yeah.
Yep. Well, hey, bro, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you.
And we got to do this again, man, because I wanted you to ask me like some controversial stuff, but you didn't. So, I'm just kidding.
I will next time.
Stir the pot, baby. So it's go ahead, wrap it up.
Yeah, mission accomplished, bro. We
go ahead and hit it.
You know what I'm saying?
Breezy snapping on the beat.
We appreciate you taking the time to be out on our little old show. And yeah,
we'll never put little old in front of your stuff, man.
Yeah. no, never.
It's the one, man. I appreciate you guys having me, brother. This is dope. This is dope. I love what y'all doing. Keep doing it. Don't stop. Keep being cool dudes, man. Stay genuine, man, and stay true to it. Stay solid. That's what I tell people all the time, man.
Stay solid. That's
10K Club in the building.
Yeah.
For sure, man.